Finally, we were ready for our first phase of underway training. This meant putting to sea for squadron maneuvers. Now came the signal for another phase of underway training, gunnery practice. I took my turn. Then the instructor gave me the old okay, and everything was swell. Smitty had done fine in gunnery class, but now he missed with every shot. I couldn't understand it. The minute he got into the turret, he went completely trigger-happy. Started firing immediately. Forgot everything he'd been taught about taking it easy before firing. The instructor had to give him the thumbs-down sign. They posted our marks on the bulletin board, and you got a real lift when you saw you were doing okay. But that gunnery mark of Smitty's could wreck him, even though he was passing in everything else. The instant he'd touch a gun, he'd think about his brother and just go to pieces. All at once, I realized why he'd gone haywire. Suddenly, I had an idea. Smitty had an idea, too. But picking four-leaf clovers wasn't my conception of the best method for passing gunnery. Hey, Smitty! Smitty! He must have thought I'd gone wacky when I came tearing up with a broom. Look, Smitty, this broom's the gun, see? You've got to make yourself relax. Lead your target. No, you're still over-anxious. I remembered how my father taught me to count 10 to control my temper. But on account of this was war, Smitty'd only have to count to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, wham! And I got it. Okay, you try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. It worked. Back to sea again for more underway training. We were beginning to feel like veterans now. A very important factor in PT warfare is a smoke screen, and every boat is equipped to produce its own. A quick turn of a valve and the thick smoke goes streaming down the wind to blind and confuse the enemy. Yes, smokers are valuable alive, the slugging little giant killers. Just another trick to befuddle the enemy. No wonder the Jap calls them devil boats. Today, Smitty was to have his last chance at underway gunnery. I told him to use the old noggin. I pounded on that 5 count. Now it was up to him. I could see he was nervous as he climbed into the turret. I knew how much this meant to him. And then the target came over. I threw in another reminder. 5, Smitty. Smitty got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boy, he'd done it. Then came that day of days, graduation. Funny how much a little piece of paper can mean to a guy. We sailed with the next big convoy. And finally, we arrived at a small tropical island where our squadron was based. We were hardly settled before we received the order for our first combat patrol. As we left the briefing bars, we wished each other luck. Now we were all set for action. As skipper, I ordered the lines cast off and signaled my engineer for power. And in another moment, we were headed out to sea. Richards, one of the gunners, came up from below. Hey, come here. What do you got there? The boys had picked up the little guy in Bougainville. But that was too hard to spell in their letters home, so they named him Brooklyn. Now our stowaway could work his way as mascot. As we neared enemy waters, I decided to go to the engine room to see that everything was shipshape. 1315 and her crew were my responsibility. And this first assignment would show what kind of team we'd make. The 3 engines were singing a sweet symphony, and that red mark. The last engine I'd worked on at Packard. Now I knew everything would be okay. We were heading into the danger zone. It was early afternoon when suddenly an enemy tanker on the horizon. The Jap was low in the water. You could see he was carrying plenty of cargo. General quarters, man your battle stations. General quarters, man your battle stations. The crew sprang to action. It was our first contact with the Nip, and we were raring to get at him. We set up the torpedo rangefinder. snapped open the torpedo panel with its control apparatus. The torpedo tubes were ready. We were closing in fast. As we started our target run, we smelled gasoline. The Jap was loaded with it. We wouldn't need a tin fish for this clunk. We'd strafe his decks and then aim for his midsection where the gas was stored. I spun the wheel hard. We were ready. Brooklyn, too. We swung around to hit him again. Our next assignment was a night mission. We were to remain at sea until further orders. Something big was in the wind. At dawn, we hove to, waiting for better visibility. Then we saw her. A Jap sub, charging her batteries. We roared into action. The big boat started to run. He was afraid of a torpedo. Suddenly, he went into a crash dive. There was no time now for torpedo action. We made a run on him, all our guns firing. He was submerging fast. We got set to drop out depth charges. A third charge. Then, a spreading oil slick. And it was all over. We resumed our patrol. Suddenly an enemy plane spotted us. We recognized him as a carrier-based dive bomber. That meant a Jap convoy was coming through. Middle quarters, man your battle stations. Enemy plane at 3 o'clock. We hit him, but we didn't stop him. We weaved, zigzagged to get out of range. Smitty ran aft to help direct our fire. Our weaving maneuvers made it tough for our gunners. This time the Nip was going to strafe us. Our fire prevented him from trying another bomb. Through our barrage. He got Richards. I signaled Smitty to come forward. The Jap came in off the starboard quarter. Would Smitty remember to count? 5, Smitty. 5, Smitty. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Learned to play that tune on a broomstick. We moved on, seeking the enemy convoy. And suddenly there she was, herded by a flock of battle wagons. Instantly, we radioed her position. The message was picked up by one of our carriers in the area. And now she released her planes. Meanwhile, a flight of Navy scouts had received our report. We waited tensely, our torpedoes ready, to blast the enemy. Suddenly, a formation of land-based bombers came roaring in to begin the attack. Our turn. I adjusted the torpedo rangefinder. A crippled enemy carrier. We raced in closer. Fire 1. Fire 2. The Japs call them devil boats. They're rough and they're tough and they're fast and they're deadly. America is proud of their record and proud of the men whose skill and daring have made them famous. Watch out, Tokyo. The devil boats are coming.